Yo, what's going on, guys? It's G-Miners here. Real quick, I just wanted to say thanks for all the support on the recent videos. We hit 25k subs like a few days back and are already well on the way to 30k. If you guys are new and want to join the community over on Discord and Twitch, links to those are in the description as well. But once again, just a huge thank you for all the support. With that out of the way, Touch of Malice is officially back in Destiny 2 as a random raid drop for completing the final encounter of the King's Fall raid, which is the Oryx fight. I got mine on my second clear, so I was super lucky, but in D1, this thing was a DPS monster, especially during King's Fall, so I wanted to see how it held up in the current sandbox in a completely different game. Looking at this Lost Sector boss where I do all of my testing, Touch of Malice hits for 3,069 damage. It's also a rapid fire frame scout, so it's going to shoot 260 rounds per minute. So just comparing that to this regular rapid fire scout, we also hit 3,069, so there's really no difference. And just to compare this to one of the hardest hitting scout rifles in the game, which is a high impact, we hit for 4,849, so this is going to shoot around 57% of the speed of Touch of Malice, but it's going to also hit 50% harder. The main perk that makes Touch of Malice a higher DPS weapon is the perk Touch of Malice Creative. This makes the final round of the mag deal 100% increased damage, and it also always regenerates, so you're going to be able to shoot on the final round infinitely. The downside is that it pretty quickly is going to drain your health, and you're also going to have massive amounts of flinch. The other exotic perk is called Charged with Blight, which does pretty depressing damage. Originally, I thought this was more of a PvP focused perk for the weapon, but then it was discovered that this increases the Touch of Malice damage by 50%. Just landing 10 precision shots is going to charge this bonus shot up, so you're going to be able to apply this pretty regularly to have a 50% damage increase at almost all times. Shooting the last round, we can see that it now hits for 6138, which is exactly double what we saw before. Also, I did want to mention that sitting in a healing rift will not save you from death. Eventually, you will die from continuously shooting. Usually the rift does run out first though. However, the 25% damage resistance from a stag rift will keep you alive indefinitely. And then obviously Well of Radiance is going to keep you alive as well. Dealing 6,138 damage on each shot and then shooting at a constant 260 rounds per minute is going to be almost 1.6 million total damage. And then dividing this by 60 seconds for the minute of damage we dealt shows that this is around 26.5 thousand damage per second. I tested a bunch of other weapons last season, and for comparison, linear fusion rifles come in around 60 to 70,000 damage per second. So at base, Touch of Malice isn't going to even come close to competing with most of the top options in the game, which is good. If you run Touch of Malice with a full squad though, and always manage to keep the Charged with Blight debuff on, then this is a 50% increase as we went over. So this is going to bring the DPS up to almost 40,000 damage per second, which is better than most special weapons. Currently, when it comes to primary weapon damage, Outbreak Perfected is known as the best option in the game. So how does Touch of Malice compare to this? Looking at Outbreak, we hit for 1409 damage per bullet. Now, there are a bunch of factors that are going to take this damage and then increase it even further. First off, the main exotic perk called the Corruption Spreads is going to create Siva nanite swarms on rapid hits and precision kills. For boss damage cases, the precision kills won't come into play, but landing 12 rapid hits, which is 4 bursts in a row, is going to spawn anywhere from 2 to 4 nanites randomly. These are also going to deal damage. At base, this is 1993 damage per nanite, which is more than an actual shot landing in the crit. The second perk, Parasitism, makes the damage of the weapon increase based on the amount of nanites that are currently active. This increase in damage is going to be a 30% increase per stack up to 5 stacks for 150% increased damage. And then after that, any additional nanites are going to increase the damage by around 2% per nanite up to 450% increased weapon damage at 100 nanites total. And then lastly, with the catalyst, the impact damage of nanites are going to be increased by an additional 25%. Since I already have the catalyst active, this is already going to have been applied when you saw the 1993 damage number pop up. So if you don't have this, you will only be hitting for around 1600 on each nanite impact. To test DPS, I'm going to time how long it takes for us to shoot 3 mags off. This is going to be 108 total rounds. After the first 12 shots, we will spawn in 4 nanites under the best case and 2 under the worst case, and then obviously that will just continue for every 4 bursts. It seems like the boost in damage doesn't apply until a little bit after you spawn the nanites, so I will just be adding the damage increase on each successive mag. If we always spawn 4 nanites, the first mag will just hit for 50k. The next mag is going to be at a 164% increase, which is 132k, and then the final mag will be at a 188% increase, which is 144. And the nanites themselves would have hit for around 48,000, so in total, this is around 374,000 damage, which we dealt in 16.5 seconds, which is 23,000 damage per second. Once again, that is the best case scenario. Using the same logic and a worst case scenario where there were only 2 nanites spawning, you're looking at more like 19.5 thousand DPS. Just looking at the time to kill with spamming Outbreak versus Touch of Malice, you're going to see that Outbreak takes way more time. Obviously, we are throwing in reloads here, which is going to slow the time down, and as we already covered, Outbreak will have way better DPS at a higher nanite count, but I think it just proves the point that Touch of Malice is going to be a better option in most cases to just hot swap to for primary DPS. Also, this is my first test that I did with Touch of Malice, which was without the Blight bonus damage, and then when I finally threw that in, the boss ended up getting deleted. The Blight also only lasted for the first third of the boss's health here, so if this was constantly up, the time to kill would have been probably closer to like 8 seconds, which is insane for a primary. Let me know what your thoughts are on Touch of Malice in the comments below. Are you glad it's back? You wish it stayed in D1? And are you happy that we now have another DPS option that runs off primary ammo other than Outbreak? Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. As always, have a good one. Peace.